The American-born French entertainer Josephine Baker was one of the most famous people in France, celebrated for her singing and dancing, and loved for her stage persona.
She became the toast of Paris very quickly. Hemingway started writing about her, Picasso started painting her. She also became the poster child for a hair product known as Baker Fix. And if you see the pictures of her from the 20s and 30s, you see her hair affixed to her head in a very artistic way. So she was probably the most famous Black woman in the world at that time, and certainly the richest.
In 1937, Baker renounced her American citizenship and became a citizen of France. From the outbreak of war, Baker was committed to serving her adopted country, believing that it was her duty to support the war effort and fight hatred and discrimination. After France declared war on Germany in September 1939, Josephine Baker was recommended to Jacques Abté, the head of counterintelligence in Paris.
Jacques Abté was very hesitant to consider her for undercover work because he looked at her, she was a big star, she was glamorous, she was beautiful.
Abté was skeptical at first, but a practice run to gather information at an Italian embassy party revealed the performer's natural ability to charm people and build their trust. Abté taught Baker the tricks of the spy trade, hiding documents, writing in invisible ink, and improvising a story.
Josephine attended embassy parties in Paris, the Italian embassy and the Japanese embassy. And she would just flit around from person to person, just being Josephine Baker. And all the while, she would be keeping her ears open, picking up information as she could.
By May 1940, France was a tinderbox ready to ignite. With the full-blown invasion of the capital, many fled the city each day.
After the Nazis invaded, Josephine swore that she would never perform in France as long as the Nazis were there. Goebbels had already denounced her as a decadent artist. He had also forbidden Jewish people or Black people from performing. So she left Paris for her chateau in southern France, Les Mélandes, and there she hid weapons, she hid ammunition, and she also hid resistors. Anything that the resistance needed, she opened her home for them to do.
Meanwhile, Abté was directed to convey critical information gathered by spies to the London-based resistance movement. Only a performer like Baker could travel across Europe without drawing suspicion. Adopting a disguise, Abté would pose as her secretary and assistant. For their first assignment in November 1940, Baker and Abté set off for Lisbon, ostensibly on a scouting trip for a planned tour of the Iberian Peninsula. Wrapped in her favorite fur, Baker drove with Abté to Toulouse, where they boarded a train, destined to reach Spain through the Pyrenees Mountains. Amongst her massive luggage, Baker's musical scores carried the intelligence given to Abté, written in an invisible ink. They hid details of the location and strength of the German divisions across western France. Convinced that no one would attempt to search her, Baker pinned photographs to her undergarments. According to Abté's account, the images carried in Baker's clothing revealed the German landing craft proposed for the future invasion of Britain. At each stop on the journey to Lisbon, Baker was swamped by a mass of fans. No one gave a second glance to her silent assistant. Once in Portugal, Abté delivered the crucial material to the British ambassador, who passed it on to London headquarters. The scheme was a success and the first of many journeys across Europe and North Africa to transfer intelligence for the Allied cause.
For her work in the war, she was honored with the Croix de Guerre, that is the Cross of War. She also was made a Chevalier of the Legion of Honor. She received the Rosette of the Resistance. She was made an honorary member of the Free French Forces by Charles de Gaulle. And when she died in Paris in 1975, she received full military honors at her funeral.